what we want, because we were told for the past 20 years that, like, oh man, Metroid Prime, oh, Metroid Prime 4, oh, I know it's not on the horizon, but man, I can't wait for the future of this franchise. We were told for decades that Metroid Prime 4 would be this huge deal when it got announced, that it would be this cultural phenomenon, that it would be this big deal, right? And now it's come and went, you know, and the same people are like constantly spurging about it and freaking out about the franchise. Because at this point in time, more than ever, we're seeing a lot of people concerned troll about the future of the Metroid franchise. Like, people legit think that the future of the Metroid series is in jeopardy because of Metroid Prime 4 existing. You know, never mind Federation Force, never mind Other M, never mind like the enduring popularity of classic Metroid games, the success of Metroid Prime. Like, let's just pretend for a little bit that Metroid is in danger. Says so. Well, did Shokio say? I don't know. Like, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people like spurg out about this, because we saw this with the last financial report, right? Where like people were like, they get really hung up about like the million units sold number. Like, they really think that matters, like as if it's not gonna like hit that number over time. Like, we're in this like weird period where people are really desperate to downplay like every major Nintendo game that comes out. Okay? Like, Prime 4 is a really interesting title because it was very well received, it was very popular. It was a great Metroid Prime game, but what we're seeing is that people didn't want a Metroid Prime game. Like, people wanted a Halo game. People wanted a generic AAA, Space Marine game. Like, they did not want Metroid Prime 4. And I think that becomes like more and more apparent over time, as you see these people spurg out, like, because like it's becoming more and more obvious that the people who hate Metroid Prime 4 are not Metroid fans. And I think the simple fact of the matter is that they don't understand like how niche of a brand Metroid actually is. Like, Dread was the series best-selling title at like 3 million units sold. Okay, and Prime 4 selling a million is actually perfectly reasonable by Metroid standards. That was better than Federation Force. That, I believe, it outsold Metroid Prime 3. Like, I'm sure it outsold 2 as well. It might actually like outsell the original at some point. Like, again, like, Prime 4 was reasonably successful. So the idea that people have that Prime 4 somehow was a disappointment or it was somehow bad. It just feels as if yeah, hello Ron, hello dinosaurs. Yeah, so like the idea that people have, the narrative that people have that like Metroid Prime is gonna fall off, like that Nintendo is just not gonna support it anymore. It's just laughable. Because we got Federation Force, we got Prime 3, we got Hunters. Like, again, the gap between Prime 3 and Federation Force was not that long. Okay, like, it was like what, like 9 years. Again, it's almost like the 3D Mario versus 2D Mario thing, where like Metroid Prime fans act like 2D Metroid doesn't matter. Because we got Prime 3, we got Other M, we got Federation Force 6 years later, which is not that long of a time to wait at all. We got like Samus Returns, we got Dread. We've actually been in this like renaissance of Metroid releases for the past decade. And yet we're still in this weird position where people think that like the franchise is in jeopardy and that Nintendo's not going to make more of them. There's like there's no indication of that. There's no reason to think that. Like, the only thing that like might indicate that is that like Kensuke Tanabe, the producer of Metroid Prime, is retiring, but I think he made it pretty clear that like Retro was capable of like continuing the series under a new producer. So like personally, like I don't understand the notion that people have is that they rebuilt the Metroid Prime team, Retro Studios, after their collapse, after the release of Prime 3. Okay, they got people back. They made a reasonably good game with Prime 4, and they're gonna make a Prime 5. Like again, I don't understand the concerns that people have about this. Like nothing about it really makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, nothing about it really feels as if it's based on anything factual. Okay, like we've gotten more Metroid games in the past decade than we have Star Fox. And it's like we're getting a new Star Fox game now, but like the way Metroid is treated, the way that like people think that like Nintendo secretly hates this franchise and it would be more successful if it was like under a different brand name or whatever. Like I saw some Japanese guy saying that today. Is that like, oh, if only this wasn't a Nintendo game, then it would get the respect it deserved. It's like, do you see how other companies treat their brands? Do you think like Konami would do a better job after the way they've handled Castlevania, the way they've handled Metal Gear, like Suikoden, like the idea that like Nintendo is mishandling Metroid, especially since it survived the woke era with like relatively no changes or like weird issues, like it doesn't make any sense. Like it's something that really needs to be called out. Why are people so adamant that like Prime 4 is somehow going to kill the entire franchise? That doesn't make any sense. Like nothing about it makes any sense. Like again, we're talking about like F-Zero making a comeback, you know, like after decades of of an absence. Star Fox has made a comeback. Like again, it's not unreasonable to assume that like Metroid's going to get a new game from a different studio in like the next couple of years or so. Like again, it might not be a Metroid Prime, but then like, why are you so hyper fixated on Metroid Prime to begin with? Like again, like I've said this several times, but people like the idea of Metroid Prime more than they like the games themselves because to them, like Metroid Prime is the cool, sophisticated first person, like realistic Nintendo game. It's like the thing that's seen as like the closest thing to Halo. And so people are glazing it in order to like pretend that like they can hang out with the cool kids and like play the cool games. But the simple fact of the matter is like Metroid Prime is nothing like Halo. It will never be like Halo. It should never be like Halo. Like Metroid Prime is its own independent thing. Like the association between the two is only a means of just like of controlling the public or whatever, like it's just a means of like pretending that like Metroid Prime isn't like the other Nintendo games. It's like Metroid Prime fans like kneeling to like Halo and saying that like, oh man, I wish our games were as cool and mature and as badass as yours. And like they don't really stop to think about like, what that actually again. How do I check?